the qualifying session, it seems to be quite BMW favoured at the moment, with 4 of them in the top 6.
Yeah. I believe, besides championship standings. Oh, sorry about that. One thing we also did miss before we had to quickly just do a little restart here is we do have the championship standings. If April, you'd like to take it away.
Sure thing. So leading the M class right now, we have Eric Gregors leading the way with 26 points, and for second place, we've actually got a tie right now between Zul Akihara and DJ Overdrive, both with 20 points. Mukong comes up in 4th with 16 points. We have another tie for 15th between Zen VTuber and Kenneth VTuber. In 7th, we have Imentrix Zanes with 11 points. 8th place is Kaito Nasa. 9th place is Ivano Shensoi. 10th, also a tie actually for 9th with Amethysta VTube. We have another tie again for 11th place, both at 7 points for G-Fox Foxington and Ubi Deuce. And with 6 points in 13th, we have Rumi Tateyama. 14th and 15th with 0 points, Faro Akami and Renai Dreamfox.
So very close battle, it seems, for the points in AM class. In Pro, we do have a tie for first right now between Reina Miata and Lucas Lichten, followed closely behind by Iser Ambra and Ruby Nekomata, who I believe is not going to be here today. So they just got one horse kind of chasing after them here. Then we got a tie for 5th between Psycho Kaiza and Midnight Hurricane with 16 points, followed behind by Ryoma Kirihara in 7th, Dirty Kohai in 8th, AG Laggy in 9th, Jordan Brunch in 10th, Nami Zero Zach in 7th, sorry, in 11th, my bad. I swapped the position of the points. We got Sebastiano Rossi in 12th, and rounding out the pro class, we have Austin the Empire with 0 points.
The team standings, we've got Project GQ Racing taking the lead with 39 points right now. X-Ring VTuber Racing Club in close second with 33 points at the moment. Technoburst Rev Up in 3rd place with 30 points, closely followed by Grip Runners Racing in 4th. Technoburst Racing in 5th. Those 3 all separated by just 3 points. X-Ring and iGo VTuber Racing Club comes in at 6th. Queen's Design Panon Formula in 7th. Fox VTRC x Bagu Racing in 8th. We have Bagu x Vitality Racing Team in 9th. Hot Laps and Hairballs in 10th, which is a brilliant name by the way, absolutely love it. Keep on doing what you're doing. Name. And X-Ring Spirits rounds out the field in 11th with 9 points.
Yeah, so we got some pretty close battles coming in here, and once again, I'd like to apologize to everyone watching for the bit of technical scuff we had going on here. Wouldn't be anything VTuber related without a little bit of scuff.
When the name comes up again, it's Motsong and not Mokong. Just saying.
But no, I'm very excited for the racing here. I am worried about people coming into the turn 1 here, because it's deceptively kind of a bit more of a trickier part of the track as we're watching Kohai here. But I'm definitely expecting, at least in the first lap, to see some of the people taking the NASCAR line through there.
Running out all the way through the exit runoff.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of all depends on how people approach it, but regardless.
It does, but it's definitely better that than running into a wall or something like you might do in other tracks, or spinning around in the grass. At least running out there, you know, you keep the car pointed the right way. You get to keep on driving your race, and just got to give the time back.
Yeah,
nice,
for sure.
Simple.
Kohai, I believe, is on a valid lap right now, though. Up by just a little bit. I think a couple 1,000ths of a second over his last lap time. No, sorry, my apologies. I'm reading the wrong people. The scuff continues. He's
That's
up
right.
by, I believe, almost 4 100ths. I apologize. I'm looking at the right one now.
Yeah, it's pretty neck and neck right now with Dirty Kohai's best time, a 45.965. Currently running in 8th. Looking for more pace to try and climb up a little bit more, but yeah, so far this just hasn't really been the lap to do it. This has been amazing consistency for a race, don't get me wrong. But yeah, probably not the progress that Dirty Kohai is hoping for at the moment in the middle of this qualifying session.
Yeah. Someone who isn't having as much troubles in this qualifying session is Miata up in first. Midnight Hurricane also very close behind by 0.04 of a second. So the top three are looking to be the kind of top 4 are looking to be the kind of people to watch here.
Oh, for sure, you've got a race winner Reina Miata up in the lead right now.
Mm-hmm.
Also the yeah, pro class leader with Lucas Lichten, right?
Both the two of them were tied for the lead of the pro class right now.
Right, yeah, that's right.
26 points to I think to each of them. Just double
definitely
check.
Good ones.
25. I was off by 1.
That's all good. Yeah, definitely wants to keep an eye on then for sure. We've got Midnight Hurricane there in the mix as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very close behind, just 1 turn off pole right now. All very quick drivers up there.
Looking back down the field to Psycho Kaiser here. Techno Burst Racing driver. This team have been very consistent both last season and this season so far, it seems. A lot of them up real far up the field.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely part of that mix-up, I guess, we're seeing. I guess there's always going to be some advantage. You know, some people have strong tracks, some people have weak tracks, so it could take a bit of time to figure that out. Nonetheless, that's some really quick lap times, though. With the AM pole right now just being, what is that, just 1.3 seconds off of the pro pole. That is good.
Yeah. Definitely trying to make sure that
coming across the line as well. Big improvement there, 45.7. Moves Psycho Kai's up to 9th. Sorry, go on, you were saying.
No, I was gonna say, and this is kind of gonna help drive the point home. Kong has put a 3-car gap between them. Put a 3-car gap between them and the next AM class driver. So they're definitely the results are definitely going to help them coming into this race.
It's not just that; it's a good position to be in for the race as well. Putting cars of a different class behind you as well. That's because now if Kenneth VT wants to try and get past Song, then that's 3 overtakes that they've got to make first before even having to go at Song. So, you know, those buffers help buy you time. Nothing quite like using another car as a shield, right, in a race.
Yeah. I mean, not as I mean, buffer probably works better than shield per se, but
yeah.
Definitely someone to keep our eye on coming into this race. I assume if they continue a performance like this, they might be one of the few drivers that we see kind of get shifted up to the pro class.
I imagine so. Part of the mid-season reshuffling that everyone loves to speculate about.
So we look back here, Psycho Kaiser looking to make some sort of improvement on their time. Up by 0.3 of a second here. Definitely going to make some sort of jump. I believe that's going to be a jump up to 5th if they can keep this momentum. Oh, not 5th, 6th, sorry, my bad. If they can keep this momentum right in front of Austin the Empire. And I think
that got invalidated right at the end. Just using a little bit too much of the track there. I was watching it, seeing like a little grab of dirt coming into the final corner, as well as a lot of the exit curb out of the final turn.
That's unfortunate. That was shaping up to be a pretty good lap. All things said and done. So we move back to Zen VT here, coming through the bus stop chicane at the inner loop. We see someone getting off into the grass. I'm not sure who that is. Ooh, they get into the wall a little bit. It looks to be Amethyst of VTube. As we can quickly cut back, they are currently up about 1/10 of a second.
It's all looking clean so far.
Yeah.
But I guess sometimes that is just improvement, isn't it? You find the one corner that you made a mistake on your fastest lap, you improve that, and then just stick to the plan for the rest of the lap. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of these, there's a lot of corners in this track that kind of go through shifting elevations. A lot of those can kind of make or break your lap here. I know for me personally, the toe part of the boot was definitely a part that kind of made or broke qualifying laps for me when I've driven through here.
Especially on these longer corners as well. I don't know about you, I always find it like easy for the line to just wander off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
See Zen VT just coming across the line here. It's an improvement up into 14 for 46.25. Yeah, just some of these corners, especially the ones with elevation changes like you mentioned, it could just be so tempting to just take the apex a little bit too early or a little bit too late. You don't really know until afterwards.
Yeah. I personally feel like this track is very deceptively like it looks easy on the surface. A lot of what seem like wide sweeping turns, but there's a lot of there's a bit of intricacies that go into some of them, especially because of those said elevation changes. Because you can only kind of get an idea of a track based on the flat map of it, you know?
Oh yeah, that's very true. But I'd also argue that like the more a corner looks simple on the face of it, the more we just see Song going into the wall there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the more simple a corner looks. It's still an improvement though. 45.1, up into 5th overall.
Song is in the top 5 right now.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive performance, turning that 3-car gap into a 5-car one. Oh, I apologize. I've hit something off my desk.
It's all good.
I put my hands out to do a wide motion and I slapped something.
No worries. Well, you figure that one out. We're just riding along with Asa Nyanpa here, coming up to the closing stages of the lap. Currently 1 turn down on her best, but
still a couple of turns to make an improvement for sure.
Oh yeah. Again, just try not to get caught out by those track limits as well. That should all be good. Using the exit curb there was good. And again there. Yeah, that's solid lap. And I presume she's going to go for another one if there's time, if there's enough fuel in that car.
I mean, they've made it to the line, so they can make the attempt. Just this is their last shot, basically, in order to for them to get any bit further up the field here.
For sure, and the pressure's on as well. That little delta in the top left of Asa's HUD has just turned green. She's currently 1.5 tenths up right now. On top of that, we've also got, I didn't realize this, Laggy and Song have the same time, 1 minute 45.132. I'm guessing there's a difference somewhere in the 10,000 for the game that's showing us, but...
I mean, that's still really, really impressive to do, especially for someone in the AM category. Normally, people expect those drivers to kind of be on the slower end of the field, but Song is proving that wrong here today.
Yeah, by comfortably slotting in within a second of pole right now. Pole sitter is in the pits.
See Asa coming out of the heel here into turn 9. Their delta is currently looking green. They're 1/10 of a second down. I don't. That might be enough to kind of push them past Jensen in the Mustang. But we'll see how they wrap up their lap here.
For sure, still 1 corner left to try and wrap all of this up.
I think they're going to be able to do it.
Sure enough,
they are.
Asa Nyanpa moves up into 7 for the 1 minute 45.332.
Okay. No, but as everyone kind of grids up here, oh, I forgot the question I was going to ask. Gosh darn it.
I'll tell you what. Do you want to take us through the grid walk, or would you like me to do it?
I think you should handle that.
Fair enough. Okay, well, on pole we have Reina Miata. Second place, Midnight Hurricane there in that BMW on the right. Lucas Lichten takes third place in qualifying. And on fourth, we have Ryoma Kirihara in that Aston Martin on the right there. Ajay Lagi is in fifth, with Mu Song in sixth. Asan Yampa in that number 69 BMW in seventh. And Jensen in the Mustang there is in eighth. Psycho Kaiser in ninth. Dirty Kohai in 10th. Kaito Nasa is in 11th there, which is also second in AM currently. Kenneth VT on your right there. Zul Akihara in 13th. Zen VT in 14th. Amafesta VTube is in 15th. Dias in 16th. Overdrive in 17th in that very colourful Lexus there on the left. We have Foxington in 18th. iMetrix Zanes in 19th. Ent in 20th. Ukami in 21st. And Ryoma Tateyama in 22nd. What a gorgeous GTR that is.
Yeah, I was about to say that's a lovely paint scheme.
Mm.
The field dotted with lovely paint schemes just like that. No, I remembered the question I was going to ask before we went down the grid. Do you think, yes or no, do you think there's going to be bowling happening here on the first lap?
You know what? I'm feeling optimistic. I'm going to guess no bowling.
No bowling?
It's turn one. It's Watkins Glen. I think we can do it, especially with the run up there of the safety net. I think we can keep it clean.
I mean, from my personal experience, the track record of first turns isn't the highest for this group. But I honestly, I'll back the same horse as you. I think I feel confident that they can make it through here smooth.
Nice one.
I'll have confidence in my fellow VTuber.
Hell yeah. We'll see. A little bit of touch in there between
A little bit of bumper tag going on in the front too.
Yeah. just psyching each other up, I guess, a little bit, saying that, we want this race to start off exciting. Midnight Hurricane saying, I do plan on having a go into turn one. Having said that, just clearing turn one clean for a field of race cars like this isn't really enough, I don't think, because there's still every chance of an accident coming up in 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Seen it many times, because there's still a lot of differences being resolved through there. It's effectively a straight, really, except a bit more complicated, because although it's flat out all the way through there, it tends to be what trips people up going side by side through there.
For me, I'm thinking what's gonna be the real area that we're gonna maybe see the bowling happen is here at the Interloops bus stop chicane. This is where everything kind of slows down for a bit on the track. Everyone gets kind of bunched up, and if everyone's a little too close, people push each other through here instead of drive through.
That's very true, yeah. Although it doesn't have to be that way. There's a video of me from, I think it was about 2017, doing an overtake through that chicane in the wet, so it can be done.
I mean, no, absolutely. Passes can be done there, but it's kind of just like, at least with the people I talk to about this track, that chicane is very much just like a big danger zone for folks. And I honestly can't blame them.
Especially with the 4 apex curbs that are... Actually, I suppose just the first 3 apex curbs that are kind of like ramps. If you hit them too much, then they can launch the car into the air. And number 1 comes with the added danger of a barrier being quite close to it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people get a little too friendly with it, trying to make a gap work.
Oh yeah, we've all done it.
We've all been there.
We have. With varying degrees of swearing, but we have all been there.
With various degrees of not for broadcast terms.
Oh yeah.
No, something that something I had to get a handle with as when I was racing here in Vtracc was definitely doing the boot, because my kind of discipline of choice is oval racing as people get start going 2x2 here. So I'm normally used to not running the boot, so getting used to that was definitely a fun time. But it's definitely a great part of the track nonetheless.
Oh, it really is.
But yeah, as we go 2 by 2 here, coming to the line, everyone's kind of grouping up. Starting to see when Miata's gonna take the field through. I have something I want to discuss, but I want to focus mainly on the start here. Something that we missed kind of when we were talking about stuff earlier. But as we come to the line here, 2 by 2, some people already looking to make it 3 wide maybe. So we go green here at the Glen. People are starting to fan out. Midnight Hurricane, Miata, side by side as we come into turn 1. Lucas looking to make an opportunity. Everyone's seeming to make it through here smooth. So people taking the NASCAR line to avoid wrecking. Was there an accident of some form? I could not see. Some people, I think, just getting off track and having to slow down as we come towards, as we go through the sweeping turns towards the bus stop. Amethysta and Miata going side by side. I don't know if that's the most advisable strategy here. As they come through, I believe Hurricane was able to make the pass. We're just waiting for the
Yep, that is Midnight Hurricane currently running.
Oh, and we got someone spun back there. I believe that's Dirty Kohai. That's unfortunate. Oh, and he touches DJ Overdrive and gets absolutely spun. Oh, yeah, he did what we were discussing earlier. He touched a little too much of that chicane.
Yeah.
Got a little too confident. I think that was Zul Akihara as well, who kind of spun off a bit. Was able to recover it. That's so unfortunate. That was not the best re-entry for Kohai, unfortunately. So I think some people are also off up ahead here. I saw some yellows. I think some people were just getting into the grass over there on the left-hand side of your screen. No, but something I wanted to discuss earlier was the pit entry. It's kind of part of the track there.
I suppose so, yeah. Although I imagine that in cars like these, they're very good on the brakes, these cars, so...
Yeah, you don't have to risk...
Okay.
Yeah, just we might seem a little bit of chaos as people try and merge in there.
That is true, yeah. Especially if there's anyone running too wide with a car between them, as you see Ryo Makirihara here, facing the wrong way in the final corner.
I think, yeah, he got into the grass a bit there and lost it.
Yeah.
Touched grass twice. That's unfortunate. That's a common thing I see people do at that corner. You get a little too confident on the runoff of the turn, just get into the grass a bit, and you lose all grip. So we come up back here to the battle of 3 between Hurricane, Miata, and Lichten as they come through the chicane. A little bit of wobbling coming from Miata as we come through here, giving Hurricane a big gap compared to the rest of them. Sorry.
That's all good.
Oh,
we see Asen Empire backwards as well. Is that just out of the bus stop chicane? It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an odd reaction over that curb.
I think the car might have just gotten a little uneasy going over the curb.
Yeah, it must have done. Because it all looked fairly settled right up until it just kind of lost it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
right now we're back.
Go on, sorry.
Sorry, I was just gonna say we're moving back up the field here with Lucas Lichten and Miata here. Lucas is looking for an opportunity to get by. He was kind of eyeballing it a couple times for the past couple turns, seeing if he can make that move stick. Definitely giving Miata a message of, hey, I'm looking, be ready.
Big time, and all the time that Lichten and Miata are battling, it's giving Midnight more time to eke out a bit more of a lead, get a bit of a safety buffer going. Lucas Lichten and Reina Miata, of course, are 2 race winners in rounds 1 and 2 of the season. And Midnight Hurricane's probably up front, hoping to make it a 3rd winner so far in 3 races.
Yeah, honestly, that would do wonders for their points situation right now as well. As Hurricane's currently sitting 6th overall, so that would definitely bump them up a couple places. But I feel like for Lichten and Miata right now, the two of them are just kind of focusing on their own battle for the lead of the points right now, more than anything else.
I imagine
getting a win would help, but right now the two of them are tied, literally neck and neck for the points lead. So any point counts.
bearing in mind as well that we run a dropped score system in this season, so your worst result throughout the season is dropped. For Reina Miata right now, that is a 5th place finish, and for Lucas Lichten, that is a 9th place finish. So Lucas Lichten will gain points as long as he finishes above 9th. Reina Miata, as long as she finishes above 5th.
So the margin for error is, I believe Lucas Lichten, who just kind of needs to keep himself within the top 10. Correct me if I'm wrong, obviously.
I mean, yeah, I'd agree with that, but I think also the margin for error kind of gets worse if you have a difficult race somewhere early on in the season, because now that drop score safety net, you've already spent it. If you have another difficult race, then that is damage to your season.
DJ Overdrive also, I don't know if we had mentioned this, has a 30-second stop-go penalty right now. As you can see at the bottom of your position, the bottom of your standings. I apologize. Yeah. The word escaped me. I'm so sorry.
That's all good. I just called the tower. I wonder, is he in the pit serving that right now?
I think he is.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Lucas Lichten's really keeping the pressure on here.
Oh, Kaito Nasa goes around.
Well.
This is one of the people having their hometown race. Oh, I guess the equivalent of their hometown race for this here. Oh yeah, just gets off the, just bounces off the curb and kind of just goes around. That inside curb is real dangerous if you're not careful.
It's that bad suspension reaction as well, similar to what we saw earlier with Asen Empire.
Yeah, suspension plays a decent bit in some of these corners, especially because some of them are large, kind of elevated curbs from the racing surface.
Yeah, the kind of places where you really do just have to trust the suspension to do everything that it can.
Yeah, one bad bump can kind of ruin your race a bit.
Oh yeah.
I will say the top 3 here, keeping it very close together as we come out of the boot segment. I feel like these three are just gonna kind of run off with the race, the top 3 here. I believe for the remainder of the race, they're forming a pretty large gap. Laggy is about 4 seconds behind. So it's gonna take a lot of work from everyone behind them to kind of catch this train right now.
Definitely seems to be their intention, doesn't it? They've said it quite nicely. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there in that exit curb, but not an opportunity for Lichten just yet. Although
they did catch it though, which was also really impressive.
Definitely. Although we've also got a hell of a car variety going on here as well in the top 3. So we see Lucas Lichten making a move here up into the bus stop, trying to go the long way around.
He's using that draft to try and get around. Honestly, going into the bus stop chicane, the long way around is probably the more preferable line, because you don't have to worry about hitting that wall coming into it.
That is true, and as soon as the chicane inverts to turning left, it's advantage you. You've got the inside line through there, and the extra exit speed onto the... Oh, is it the carousel they call it? I can't remember.
Carousel. It's called the outer loop. Outer
loop, thank you. It's also a good car variety right now in the top 3 as well. We've got completely different engine configurations in each one. Midnight Hurricane, BMW's front-engined, Reina Miata's NSX being mid-engined, and Lucas Lichten's Porsche being rear-engined.
Yes, we're seeing like a nice kind of spread of how these turns kind of affect these cars, which is nice.
Definitely. I'm really curious to see how we get like the long-term pace evolves. Although you could probably scrub me talking about Lucas Lichten's long-term stint performance off your bingo cards, because again, I'm wondering what's going to happen with that Porsche if it's going to get quicker as the stint goes on, because the fuel tank is over the front axle. It's pretty much in the most disruptive place it could possibly be for the car handling, so it can vary a lot throughout a stint.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so far it seems like he's just kind of taking it a bit more easy, waiting for the opportunities to pass to kind of come to him, as opposed to like pushing those tires, warming them up. As we fall back down the field here to Kirihara, I believe they were one of the cars to spin early on in this race. He's currently down in 10th 10th right now.
Yeah. Still on a good recovery drive though. Currently still tangled up in the Amfield at the moment. Kenneth VT just in front there, 4 tenths separating them. And Amethysta VTuber is the next car up there as well. It's always an awkward position to be in when you've got to overtake the cars in front of you to make progress in your race, but you know it's not for points, and you always get the feeling that no one really wants to be doing this. No one wants the time loss of battling when it's separate classes and there's no points being exchanged, but
yeah,
it needs to be done. If Kirihara's going to make progress, he's going to have to do it.
Yeah, getting pace card by other drivers is definitely not ideal. But he's going to make it looks like he's trying to make a move here at one of the corners here, the boot. I think he might try for it. Oh, no, he's going for it here at the toe. Might make it stick over at the down on the straight to the heel. So that's one less car he's got to get past now. No, but definitely, like you said, very impressive recovery drive from Kirihara so far.
I think so far is the operative word. Still a long way to go for Kirihara, but nonetheless, there's time to do it.
I mean, 50 minutes is, even though it's not the longest opportunity in an endurance race, it's still a pretty decent amount of time to to close the gap to Jensen in 6th right now.
Still a lot of variety left as well in the pit stops as well. One mandatory pit stop in these races. See Kirihara having a look up the side of Amethysta here, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to make it stick. Having to run off go into the runoff a bit. It's coming to turn 2. I think they'll be able to make the pass here, coming into the straight towards the chicane. Definitely.
So, with a slipstream like that, yeah. So he's setting up for the outside of the chicane as well, like you were saying.
Yeah, textbook kind of pass here on the straight. Keeping it clean, keeping it safe for both drivers. Don't want to ruin either of these drivers' races, especially since Amethysta VTube is racing for 2nd at AM class right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if they're the class below you, you still kind of want to respect your fellow driver on the track.
Oh, definitely, yeah. There's no sense in making enemies.
So, as we go back to Kenneth VT here, I believe, yeah, the car behind them is about 5 seconds back from him. So it's just right now between him and Amethysta for the battle for 2nd and AM. And then, who is up in the front? One moment, I will find out for us. Zen VT is currently leading the AM class right now. So that's the only car that I believe Kirihara currently has to pass in order to be kind of on the road to catching Jensen.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the last one.
So they have a pretty good gap right now to kind of keep that win in AM in their court.
Somewhere along the line, though, we lost Song as well.
Yeah.
What happened there?
They might have gotten caught up in the first lap kind of mix-up there.
Yeah.
They fell back to about 14th. I still don't think... even with that, I feel like that doesn't take away their excellent qualifying performance.
No, definitely not.
Let's see if they can kind of bring it back here in the last kind of 45 minutes.
Especially because we've still got one big variable waiting. You see in the top middle of your screen there, the pit window open. There is one mandatory pit stop during this race. Drivers must stop, take a pit stop, and change tires. But they can do it any time in the next 41 minutes and 27 seconds.
Yeah. Obviously, if they miss that window, they get a penalty. But I believe everyone has the right idea of pitting in before that.
I'd imagine so, especially because that's quite a big window. There's quite a lot of flexibility in there about when you do it, and I gotta play that strategically, you know.
As Kenneth goes inside, trying to make the move past Amethysta here, as we come to the heel of the boot. Ooh, Amethysta's gonna try and eke out, braking a little later. They're still side by side. So come through turn 9. Amethysta on the inside, Kenneth on the outside. They're still gonna keep it too wide. Ooh, no, Kenneth is just gonna make it past. I think Amethysta is gonna try and retaliate though. Coming to turn 10. No, they do not have the run to do that. Kenneth running a little wide there. As we come through the final turn here, Kenneth makes it stick. What a good move. That was some good racing.
That's exactly what we love Watkins Glen for. This track's great for moves like that.
Good side-by-side action.
Mm.
Kenneth definitely trying to make his march up to at least either 7th or 8th, depending on whenever they catch Zen up at the front of the field. But he's definitely trying to make that march earlier rather than later.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we're also looking at a huge step there as well. As that's quite a big difference in points between 2nd and 3rd in AM. So fairly significant move in the AM standings, I imagine.
You know, for sure. So we move back down the field to Dirty Kohai in 13th. He was the driver that spun around, got into contact with, I believe, that was, correct me if I'm wrong, DJ Overdrive.
That's right,
yes. It's unfortunate because the area where he crashed is kind of, I believe we saw he got on the curb, which is really unfortunate because after a certain point, there's not a lot you can do besides lock it down and try and recover.
Pretty much one of those moments where you hope that the car can kind of sort itself out because that's your last line of defense, as it were, before things start pointing the wrong way.
Yeah. He's currently chasing down Asa the Empire, who's also in a BMW. Asa, who I believe also spun off one of the curbs here, looking to make some sort of recovery drive. Maybe the two of them might work together to kind of scythe through the Amfield, or it might just be every man and vampire for themselves.
I imagine it is going to be just everyone for themselves here, as these two are not teammates, although they're both BMWs. I can't imagine they'll be sitting in a voice chat talking about trying to plan ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I think for Kohai, he's gonna have a bit of a challenge. Personally, I know that Asa is one of the more talented drivers in the field. She could definitely hold her own on a lot of the tracks, especially a lot of the ones we've been to on the schedule here. So I don't know. Kohai's gonna have to dig deep to make this pass here.
May well be that the M cars up in front are going to start making opportunities as well. A bit like lapping other classes in endurance racing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really can just breed opportunities. We see Kaito and Asa getting very close there to Farukami.
Looking to make the pass on the inside. The riskier line. It's coming to the chicane here. Ooh, two of them getting really close, but keeping it clean. Not Kaito Nasa doing making the switch up to make the pass here, coming out of the chicane and going down the outer loop. That was a little sketchy on the entry, but very smooth, very well done pass on the exit.
Definitely a good move with good preparation as well. Just getting Okami onto a bad line through the chicane and then, making the most of it.
We move back up the field to Kohai. Just looking to try and close the gap here. As I believe Asa's starting to catch up to some of the AM traffic. I believe that's Foxington and the Lamborghini up ahead. Foxington moving out of the way. It's not slowing down Asa at all for Kohai.
Yeah, not getting involved at all.
Honestly, for him, that's probably the smartest move he can do. Just kind of let them pass. It's not his fight.
I completely agree. Just play it safe, especially when there's nothing to gain. There are no points on the line for these positions, so why take risks?
So we move up to the field, back up to Reina Miata, Midnight Hurricane. Still nose to tail here. Lucas is kind of petered off a bit though.
Still looming in their mirrors, but it's a distant looming, a bit like a crow at the window or something, rather than full on just filling up the mirror. I mean, Hurricane's under a lot of pressure here, though.
Yeah, Miata is definitely keeping them in, instead of doing the looming of Lucas Lichten, they are keeping themselves right behind them, just waiting for that opportunity to strike.
I might have that backwards, actually. It might be looming's better for being closer, whilst Lucas is stalking from a distance.
Yeah, that does seem like a better wording.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no. So Lucas Lichten currently stalking, Miata currently looming. As we move down to Kiriara, who's looking to make the pass on Zen VT here. Aston on Aston Racing, we got.
But no, decided to switch back to looming for the time being. I promise I will not make this a recurring thing.
Kirihara going low, trying to make the pass on the high-speed corner as we come down the straightaway, getting into that them pebbles on the side of the road there. So Zen just kind of slows down, lets them through, decides if I'm gonna battle someone in a different class, maybe this is not the place to do it. But now they've lost that kind of buffer between them and the two cars behind them in the AM class podium positions.
Yeah, directly all to play for now between the AM top three. It's good. As we see rejoined Reina Miata here as well, still very close. A little bit of a twitch there on the exit as well.
Yeah, I can't tell if that's either netcode or the car's getting a little wiggle out of the turn. Miata going a little wide through there. Perhaps starting to see some tire fall off?
I'd imagine so. Although these tires are made to last an hour, I think there is a skill in spending as much of it as possible. Because one thing's for sure, 20 minutes into a stint, those tires are not going to feel brand new. Running a little bit wide there as well. Reina's, of course, battling with a downforce loss, driving so close behind Midnight Hurricane. That downforce that the Honda NSX is famous for, it's not going to be quite as good as it would be in clean air.
Yeah. The Miata also seems to be kind of taking a bit of a step back. Maybe it's to get that kind of cleaner air for themselves. I do think that those wiggling, the wiggling definitely is probably playing more into that than probably safety per se, but definitely not as close to Midnight Hurricane as they were before. Starting to fan out a bit.
A little bit though, but I imagine it'll close up. There's always that cycle you're tempted to fall into with racing, right? Where you get closer to the person in front, a little bit closer, then you have a little slip because you've lost so much downforce, it forces you to back off. And now that you've got the downforce back, you can start getting back to getting a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer.
Yeah, especially, it's also one thing to kind of catch, it's another thing to pass.
That's true.
They can be as fast as they can be, but if they can't make that, if they can't find any opportunities to make that pass, then that speed's not going to go anywhere.
These drivers also lightning quick in this field. They are, somewhat unsurprisingly, two of the three drivers whose fastest lap is a 1 minute 44. Only the top three hold that. Reina, Midnight, and Lucas.
Yeah, the three of them seem to kind of be in the class of their own this weekend. For sure. As I believe Hurricane was there flashing at some of the lap traffic here, kind of letting them know that they're there. So they go side by side into the chicane. Not the safest place to try and make that lap traffic pass, as they go wide behind them, taking Miata almost completely off the track. I believe they had to use some of that runoff. Not ideal for Miata, and definitely not what the driver they were trying to pass wanted.
No. I think that's Farukami, but yeah, it's definitely not ideal, especially the approach up to the chicane being in the marbles as well. All those little balls of rubber effectively just sticking to the tire. You lose grip to all of it because that's all used rubber that, well, it's just been ripped off tires effectively. Whereas, for the maximum grip, you really want the tire surface clean so it can just stick directly to the road.
Yeah, and especially if you're a class down, I feel you definitely don't want to be racing higher class cars in that chicane. especially when you really like we've mentioned, you really don't need to. You're holding them up, and you're making it a lot dangerous for both of for everyone. So we move back to Ryoma Kirihara, who's, I believe, now right behind Jensen here, the only Mustang of the field. Gotta show my respect to the one driver representing Ford. Definitely using that Ford to its full advantage though here on this track. Definitely a car built for a track like Watkins Glen. Very good at high speed. The only problem spot I could see would be the chicane for it.
I imagine so, but it's also very good at defending around here as well. We saw Jensen there just defending a little bit around the third last corner. Not using the whole track, but just trying to just cover the inside and make sure Kirihara can't find the easy way past.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I love this car. But I won't spend precious commentary time gushing about it. Kirihara is currently just kind of hounding, looking for that opportunity. Maybe waiting for Jensen to make a mistake here as we come towards the bus stop chicane. Jensen kind of playing it safe through. Kirihara kind of jumping over some of the curbs here, coming into the outer loop. Definitely, despite those bumps, he's making up a lot of ground, trying to catch up to Jensen in front of him here.
The one advantage you have following is that you are free to just use the whole track width right up until you get up alongside. Before then, it's all fair game to try and close that gap and try and make an opportunity through just sheer momentum. Not a luxury you have when you're trying to defend, however, which really does limit your lines.
I think...
Oh, he's doing well with defending right now. That's all good.
No, I definitely think that straight line speed is definitely helping Jensen over Ryoma here. Just able to just get away from them on those straightaways. Basically, Ryoma's making up a lot of ground here on these turns, but as soon as they get back onto the straightaways, Jensen's kind of opening that gap a bit more.
So we're seeing Kirihara entering the pits here? Yes, we are.
Okay.
So Kirihara hoping to try and make that move through pit strategy instead.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to just exit pits in a bit of clean air.
Move back up to Miata here. The top three also currently have not pitted, so I wonder if pit strategy is going to play into this race at all for these top three. They're kind of just all waiting each other out, it seems.
Well, you say they're all waiting each other out. Lucas Lichten, who was running in third 5 minutes ago, has just left the pits as well. He's just completed his pit stop.
You're correct. No, I completely missed that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's all good.
So maybe he's probably trying to use those pit cycles to his advantage here.
I imagine so. And I'm really curious to see what Midnight Hurricane and Reina Miata end up doing. If Reina thinks that they can just pass Midnight Hurricane on track, then the play might be to wait until Midnight pits and just follow them in.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it might be worth looking for like either an overcut or more likely an undercut. I think that usually works out faster in these cars.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know. It's hard to tell at this point. I feel like it's all going to come down to fuel, to what the amount of fuel they put in and how risky they want to get on those tires.
Yeah, I imagine so.
You can only play pit stop chicken for so long.
That is true. I imagine we're mostly playing with fuel as well.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of drivers just kind of go 50-50 on it for their race stints.
Yeah.
Makes it easy to kind of calculate.
It does. Especially because the alternative can lead you down running a suboptimal race as well. Like if you decide to go 60-40 on fuel, but pit halfway anyway, then you effectively carried more fuel than you needed to through the first half of the race.
Yeah, not to mention the weight would bog you down a bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. It might not feel like much, it might not look like much, but over the course of a stint, it is a good few seconds. Which, depending where you are, it could easily be positions here in this field. It's looking very popular, actually, to pit right now. Of course, see Laggy in right now, but
it looks about more than half the field is pit, I think.
yeah,
From looking at it.
mm-hmm.
So everyone's opting to take kind of a halfway point pit above all else.
Makes sense. Just split the race in half, effectively. We see
As,
Night Hurricane entering pits there.
Leaving Miata out there all by themselves. I think they're trying to make that gap for when they go to pit next lap. And hopefully, they can get through their lap as quickly as possible, so that it gives less of an opportunity for Hurricane to catch back up. So
this could well be advantage Lucas Lichten as well, because the pace has definitely fallen off of those two lead cars. Best laps, of course, being high 44s, but last laps, both 46s, low 46s, so we're looking at about a second and a half off between old tyres and new tyres. And Lucas Lichten's already enjoyed, what, 3 laps on new tyres?
yeah, so he's gotten them warmed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
No, we see Lucas here kind of scything through some of the back markers here. I believe they're getting they've caught up to Amethyst to VTube. Third place overall in AM right now. Still hasn't pit. But yeah, Lucas is just absolutely cutting his way through the field like a hot knife through butter.
And also showcasing the disadvantage of pitting early, because those aren't back markers at all. That was an overtake 4 position overall.
Oh.
Yeah.
Regardless, he's definitely pushing to try and catch up with the lead cars right now, though.
Oh yeah, he's thinking exactly the same thing I am, that those fresh tyres are an advantage right now, and they could be a big enough advantage to close that gap entirely.
Since he kind of pitted earlier, though, he was probably gonna have to deal with a lot more tire wear later down the line in the race, though.
He will. And right now, Midnight Hurricane has left the pits, so we are seeing a gap there of 3.9 seconds. Not a huge change, unfortunately, for Lucas.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to wait and see how that kind of pans out from here. I will say, though, you were right. No bowling in the first lap here, whereas we're about halfway through.
There you go. I know I could depend on the VTuber series for a nice, mostly clean first lap.
I mean, there were a couple spins, but there was nothing, like, catastrophic accident-wise.
Yeah.
Which is always good to see.
You know what? We'll take that.
A lot of cars coming. A lot of the remaining cars coming into pits now.
Kind of makes sense. If your strategy was to stay out longer than the other person, then, well, most of these people have already accomplished that.
Miata is still out. I don't believe they've taken their mandatory pit stop yet.
Now that's odd.
Miata and Jensen are both out still.
Yeah.
So I wonder what I wonder what the strategy call is going to be for them.
Yeah, I'm wondering that too. Jensen remind me. Jensen was battling with Kohai, right?
Yeah, Jensen. No, I believe it was Ryoma Kirihara that they were battling with. As I say that, Reina Miata is coming into the pits, serving that mandatory pit stop now.
Nice. We'll see if Reina Miata's managed to build enough of a buffer to take the lead here, if it's going to stay in Midnight Hurricane's hands.
I mean, currently, Midnight Hurricane has about a 13-second gap, though I'm sure that that's going to be closed fairly quickly.
Yeah, that's only to the next car as well,
sorry.
Ken VT, but...
Sorry, it was a 25-second gap to the leader, my fault.
Yeah. Sorry, we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. So one thing I love and hate both at the same time about pit strategy is just the wait, the suspense to see how it all unfolds.
Dirty Kohai Dirty Kohai
Alright.
currently got a drive-through penalty. I will see if I can find out what for. But they're gonna serve that, so that's another kind of blemish on this race for them, unfortunately.
Yeah. Ugh, that's a shame. It's always gutting to come to the end of the pit stop phase with a drive-through. Presumably for pit lane speeding.
Yeah,
Midnight Hurricane is out of the pits. Reina Miata has taken the lead through the pit cycle. Although having said that, Jensen is still your overall race leader. There's a stop the count moment there for any Ford fans, but unfortunately Jensen does still owe a pit stop.
Yeah, so that might bump him down a couple places. I don't think it's gonna knock him down out of the top 5 for the pro class.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely not gonna be the holdout win that Ford fans such as myself are hoping for.
Not this time. But one
Not
day.
this time. One day. As Midnight Hurricane goes off, gets into the wall just a bit there. Lucas, ducking and diving, trying to avoid them. Good, a good. I'm sorry, a good miss by Lucas there, nearly getting the back of them. Those brakes shining through. Thank goodness they're warmed up. As they make the pass on Midnight Hurricane here. What happened?
I don't really know. We only caught the end of that. My guess is that Midnight Hurricane was just pushing a little bit too hard to try and catch Reina Miata, and just came into a corner with a little bit too much speed, and now gets to walk away with aero damage thanks to it.
Yeah, well, now the ball, now the opportunity to pass Miata is now in Lucas's court. Because I don't think Hurricanes, I don't think, it doesn't seem like they occurred too much damage, but I can't really see too close, I can't really see a close-up of the car right now. It doesn't seem like they gained a lot of damage, but that was definitely not a great lick to have on happen to your car.
No, for sure. I'm going to be watching the last lap times as well as we roll around a little bit here, just to try and see if I can get the info from that, but it's ACC. With a hit like that into the wall, it won't be a lot, but it won't be nothing.
Yeah. So far, it doesn't seem to be affecting them too much. They're keeping pace right now, for the most part.
I see Lucas Lichten just getting a little bit defensive there, just breaking the toe.
Trying to gain every little millisecond they can right now.
I imagine it's just about trying to build a gap to Hurricane right now. I think Lucas is hoping to build a gap here and secure this position for himself. We see Jensen in the pits there as well. Our last pit stopper out of our current runners.
Yeah. No, but right now, as it sits, let me double check to be 100%. Yeah, Miata and Lucas are currently our top 2 right now. So the battle for the points lead right now for top 2.
Seeing fastest laps roll in as well. Reina Miata clocks in a new fastest lap of 1 minute 44.650. Meanwhile, Lucas and Midnight both clocking in 46s.
Yeah. So, do you think Miata has just turned on the rocket thrusters and is trying to just make sure that win is kind of locked in, or do you think they're kind of they're keeping it consistent, but I don't know, try not to make too many mistakes here?
I think it's that difficult balance, isn't it, of you want to keep the pace up because there's still a long way to go, and if you let your pace go now, you will be caught. So you need to keep the pace up, but you also don't want to let yourself make a mistake. We see Midnight Hurricane getting very close to Lucas Lichten here. Yeah, it's just finding that difficult balance to try and secure that win for Miata.
So we are on board now with Midnight Hurricane. Yeah, that bump with the wall doesn't seem to be really affecting them too much. They're starting to rein in Lucas here, trying to gain that second position back for themselves.
I'm not seeing much fear for downforce either. Like, Midnight's definitely going to be in the dirty air here, but doesn't seem too upset by the downforce loss, so maybe there's still plenty to spare on that car. Another check for aerodynamics and ACC as well, as the hood is still secured in the car. It's not rattling loose.
Yeah. So yeah, that accident might have just only damaged the car a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is good for Midnight. That would be a horrible way to end your race, especially after the performance they've put in today so far.
Oh yeah.
Let's come to the bus stop chicane here. Everyone keeping it as smooth as they can. A bit of bumping as they go over the curbs.
Can't imagine Midnight doesn't have just a little bit paranoia using the curbs right now, just because of the trust you need to put in the suspension. You really need the whole car just working healthy to drive them like normal. But well,
yeah, they want to avoid another spin for themselves.
Mm.
It's coming out the boot. Lucas is seeming to get a lot more consistent exits than Amethysta. Oh, not sorry, Amethysta. Midnight Hurricane right now.
I guess those Porsche exits, isn't it? Just got a little bit more traction to just get that initial exit going. See a little wiggle there for Midnight Hurricane, but still under control.
I think that paranoia you're talking about might be playing into this a little bit for them, because they seem to be taking corners a little safer than before. Oh, I say that as the car loses a bit of grip here. Excellent catch from Midnight Hurricane. Yeah, they've definitely cooked those tires. The grip is not great for them right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. But that slide is probably almost certainly the save of the day. If no one flipped it before the end of the race, I will be coming back and doing it myself, because that was glorious.
I mean, I'll be honest, that's right up there with for highlights with Lucas and avoiding Hurricane back when they initially spun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The two drivers showing off their driving skills there and the ability to keep the car going.
We'll get it a little bit of a wiggle going as well, going over those curbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely get the feeling there's something not entirely right on that car right now.
Something we can't see for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely giving Midnight Hurricane here a much larger gap to have to what's the word I'm looking for? Reel back in. But I imagine right now for them, their strategy is kind of play it safe.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
As we move back down the field to Jensen, who is catching up with Zen VT. The last kind of AM car in his way before catching back up to Ryoma Kirihara. He is absolutely flying through that chicane as we come down the outer loop. I'm hoping Zen just lets them by. I feel like it's not really worth it for them to kind of fight right now. They've got first kind of locked down. Well, first in class at least locked down.
I mean, normally I'd agree with you, but it feels like that's just not how it's unfolding. It looks like Jensen is going to have to do this the hard way.
Yeah, they're side by side as they come to the heel. And I think, yeah, Jensen's going to be able to make this pass pretty smoothly, all things considered. Yeah, they're able to get it through, lock it down, and make that pass. His next target, Ryoma Kirihara.
Yep, that's a 5-second gap to close down in the next 15 minutes. Can it be done?
I mean, it's not impossible, but it's going to require a lot of consistency, a lot of smooth driving from Jensen to make up.
is, yeah. And imagine, I'm really curious to see where Jensen's next lap time as well, now that he's in clean air.
Yeah.
Speaking of next lap time in clean air, Reina Miata has just set fastest lap of the race. Again, a 44.4 this time. Yeah,
It's faster and faster.
Yeah, it's been a fairly long string of just fastest lap for Reina
They
Miata.
are... Sorry.
And yeah, now we're down to 44.4. Possibly getting lower this time? No, not this time. 44.6.
I mean, regardless, they are keeping up a consistent speed here. Definitely wanting to pull away as far as possible from the car behind them. Honestly, I feel like right now the top three are kind of just trying to lock in their positions above all else.
Everyone except Midnight Hurricane, who I imagine is weighing up whether or not to just settle for third right now, or whether to get back on it and try and hunt down Lucas.
So, I believe we have a car off the track in the outer loop there, and I wasn't sure who that was. It's the 143 of DreamFox. Fortunate. I wonder what happened.
In a position like that, it could well just be something that happened in the bus stop chicane. And it
yeah.
just took that distance to turn the car around and get it stopped.
A little too much, a little too ambitious on the curbs, maybe.
Still not moving though.
No. Maybe something disconnected.
Maybe.
I'm not sure why they're still sitting there. Regardless, the race continues on here.
Speaking of not entirely sure, I'm not entirely sure why we're seeing Jensen down in 10th right now. But
yeah, the front of his car looks a bit smashed up. I wonder what happened.
Yeah.
There were a couple cars there between the outer loop and the entry to boot that there was a couple of yellow dots there on the little map. So maybe someone had gotten around or something, and he just unfortunately got into it.
Maybe, yeah.
Best assumption I could make off what little context clues we have here right now.
There's a lot of damage though. That's
definitely going to infect their pace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've actually dropped down a position in class. Asa New Empire is now in front of them as well. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm very curious what happened. Something for the stewards to look into for sure. But now Jensen's now on a kind of recovery drive though, try and make up what he can in the last kind of 12 minutes here.
Kind of just make the most of it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Much like I imagine Midnight Hurricane is doing right now, trying to just lock down third, just accept that Lucas Lichten's gone. Just let him go. Just bring it home in third.
I'm having thoughts and they're escaping me. I apologize. It's just been a lot going on in this race and a lot to keep my eyes on. No, but yeah, no, like you said, Hurricane's just kind of just accepting that Lucas is going to disappear into the distance a bit there. Regardless, though, very good performance from them. Even if they do end up third, podium is not something to scoff at.
No, and a race like this also shows what could have been. Like, that could well have been a race win for Midnight Hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
They looked quite comfortable in the lead early on in the race, so I imagine at some point that race win is coming.
Yeah, I can see it come. I feel like it's gonna come, especially the cars that are in the top three right now. Definitely, I can see a win for Midnight Hurricane and B, more wins for Miata and Lichten here if they can keep up the pace throughout the rest of the season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely the class of the field for the pro category. I'm still curious to why Dreamfox is still sitting in the outer loop, though.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that as well.
Well, I will say, out of all the places to kind of be sitting, that's not the worst spot. It's out of the way. No one's going, like, unless someone gets really offline, there's not going to be any chance of them getting hit out there. But it's still strange that they've been sitting out there for so long.
I'm wondering actually if it's just that they haven't got the engine buttons found, because they're just out there with the engine off right now. So maybe it's spun, stalled, and just couldn't get it started again. Hard to say.
Very eventful race so far, though, regardless, nonetheless.
It really has been.
No, but as it stands right now, Miata's going to be taking the pro class lead, and I'm not sure exactly where the AM class is currently going to pan out.
Let's have a look, shall we?
I'm checking my numbers and struggling at math.
Okay, so our current leader in AM isn't here today, but has 2 race wins, so that will convert to 51 points at least.
Mm-hmm.
Zen VT, currently running in first, has a 4th place finish and a no-show, so that'll be 28 points at the end of today. So Eric Gregus will stay ahead of today's AM leader Zen, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Dual Lekihara, currently 2nd in AM, is not going to be bringing home any points, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
DJ Overdrive, 3rd in AM right now, is no longer running. So also not bringing home any points. Yeah, I imagine like a fair bit of movement going on here, actually, looking at these. Too many movements to just do in my head, I'm afraid, so
yeah,
you're
no,
not
I'm sorry. I apologize. I wasn't trying to put the pressure of live math on you.
Oh, it's all good. See Midnight Hurricane here just coming up on Farakami as well.
Yeah,
seems like Midnight Hurricane's found like a good rhythm at least and a good flow.
It's definitely going to help them a little bit.
Definitely what's needed right now in a situation like this.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be like doesn't seem there's a lot of battling currently going around right now. Everyone's just kind of settling into where they are, finding that kind of rhythm, kind of sticking with it the best they can.
Yeah.
Honestly, for the best, they got about 10 minutes. Well, less than 10 minutes, about 7. So I can't imagine battling being what a lot of drivers want to do right now, especially the higher you get up the field.
Yeah, you reach a point you just want to bank what you've got already. Having said that, there's definitely been a few accidents that we've seen that looked a little bit out of people's control. I'm thinking of Aston Empire's spin in the bus stop especially, where there does seem to be a 1 in 1,000 bad suspension reaction to the curb.
Yeah.
Well, we saw someone do it in turn 1 as well. I can't remember who it was, but
I believe it was one of the Technoburst cars.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Where the suspension just did not agree with their approach to the turn.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Definitely one of the bigger threats for this track are those curbs, as previously mentioned. They could really, like we're seeing right there, they could really throw off your car. Midnight Hurricane getting I wouldn't say a little loose, a lot loose, but able to make that recovery. Another one for the highlight reel for them. Yeah, there's definitely there's definitely some sort of damage that we aren't seeing right now.
I imagine so. It might well be that fresh tires just kind of masked it a little bit, but they won't be that fresh anymore, you know. As much as these tires, they won't be feeling bad right now, but they won't be good.
Yeah, so we move up. As we move to eighth, the battle for seventh overall. Sorry, my bad. With Austin and the Empire in eighth. Trying to get past Zen here. Just kind of looking for that open opportunity. But Zen, like before, kind of just not letting them by. At least not easily.
Zen, of course, is your AM class leader. I'm not entirely sure why Zen's fighting this.
I'm not sure either. I don't think that buffer is really worth it. It also kind of takes a bit of that runoff there going on the NASCAR line.
Just running a little bit too close. It's also one of the downsides of running so close to someone with the dirty air. It not only does it reduce the downforce you can use for slowing the car down, it also reduces the drag, which again extends the stopping distance of the car. So it's one place on a track where drag is actually a good thing is the braking zones.
Yeah. Asa was one of the cars that spun. Yes,
That's right.
Yeah. So that's kind of put them behind a lot of the AM class drivers, as I believe they're going to make the pass here. Makes it pretty fluidly. Kind of.
Yeah, that was good.
Crossing right in front of Zen to make sure secure that pass coming out of the boot.
Just make sure there's no ifs, no buts. Just get it done.
Definitely also a really good recovery drive. That's what I was going to mention about the accident. Definitely good recovery drive so far by Asa.
Yeah.
Put it in the work to end this race in the best position they possibly can right now. No, I don't think they're going to be able to make any more passes though this race. Unfortunately, there's too large of a gap to close in too short of a time, with about 3 minutes to go, give or take a couple seconds. So we move down the pack to Song, who I believe is I think battling with Foxington. Yeah, Foxington in front of them. As we come through the heel of the boot. As they go around, making that pass as smooth as they can. Foxington looking for the crisscross. Can they make it happen? They cannot. Song will secure that pass. Foxington, no retaliation. Yeah, Song, perfect, clean pass. Well, as clean as they could make it. Definitely one of the better drivers in the AM class right now. For sure, the qualifying performance there, plus their lovely their amazing recovery drive that they're doing right now.
Yeah,
definitely one of the highlight drivers in the field. Sorry.
All the way up to the fourth in AM as well, from before when, like, if I'm not mistaken, they were quite near the tail end of after whatever it was we missed in the first lap, right?
Yeah, the kind of first lap scuffle. They were kind of in the like mid to back field of the AM class.
Yeah.
So
that is definitely a solid recovery. Yeah.
A lot of the kind of main thing of the day is a lot of good recovery drives from a lot of drivers in the field.
Oh yeah. Although not a recovery drive is Zen VT, who has gained 6th position so far in this race to get into first in AM. So yeah. That's a hell of a climb.
Yeah. A lot of...
That is our biggest climber of the race so far.
The AM drivers really showing their grit here in the field today, for sure.
Oh yeah. Showing us exactly what they're made of. Exactly what they can do.
So we move back up to the front of the field here. with Miata, who is catching up to, I believe, Jensen here.
If I'm not mistaken, she's also just started her final lap of the race.
Yeah, I believe that should be the final lap of the race with about 30 seconds left on the timer. Coming through the bus stop here. If it's not this lap, that's the final lap. It's the next one for sure. So they have quite the sizable gap. So at this point, they can kind of just coast it home, for the most part.
Nonetheless, though, this looks like a very comfortable pace. Last lap being a 45.5 for Reina Miata. Still very quick.
Just come through the boot. It will be the last lap of the race. So basically, they have about 4 or 5 more turns, and then they're home free on that final straightaway. As we come to the heel, looking into the car to the driver, Reina Miata, smooth, elegant, perfect turns. As we come out of the boot and towards the last 2 turns, can they keep it clean? I don't want
last corner, but so far so good.
Coming through the last corner, they will take it here at the Glen. Reina Miata, your pro class winner. What a race from them.
Oh yeah, Reina's just been on it pretty much the all day. Pole position, absolutely rock solid all the way through the race as well. Hasn't put a foot wrong.
Lucas Lichten will cross the line second. Good race from them as well. Kept it very consistent, very clean. Had a couple dodgy moments, but other than that, really good racing. The two of them go side by side there.
Lining up for the podium photo shoot, I guess.
As we move down the field to the AM class leader of Zen, they're coming out of the boot and towards the heel. The gap to the car behind them, I don't think is anything they have to worry about right now. No, not at all. They can just kind of keep it smooth, keep it clean. They will be the winner of our AM class. Not to count our chickens before they hatch, of course. Yeah, they just like Reina before them, they make it through perfectly clean. And with that, they will be your AM class winner. Congrats to them.
See the weaving to celebrate going on there as well.
A lot of drivers I saw were doing that.
Yeah, I think we saw Asset doing it there in the foreground as well.
They roll up onto the runoff. Ooh, get into the ooh. I don't think that was intentional, but they were getting into the cars around them.
Also looks like traction control stopped the donut there.
Yeah. But no, that was a good race. There was some spins, obviously, in the first lap. But other than that, the battle for the first in the pro class was something definitely to highlight. The top 3 drivers were definitely in a class of their own today. Very good driving from them. Song, excellent qualifying performance in the AM class.
I guess we just wish we could have seen a bit more of it in the race rather than seeing it in a recovery drive. Don't get me wrong, it was a rock solid recovery drive.
Yeah, for sure. As we see Zen here doing donuts, celebrating their AM win.
Hey.
Turning the TC off this time.
There we go, that's looking good.
And any notes you want to kind of hit on before we wrap up here?
Nothing too serious. I've not been able to do the maths in my head for championship movers right now. That does keep Reina Miata in the lead for pro and keeps Lucas in the second. That much I have managed to figure out, but yeah.
For Am, it's a bit more up in the air.
Yeah. There's a lot to play for, so.
Regardless, some great racing here today.
It was.
I want to say thank you to Seong for broadcasting here for us today Without them, we wouldn't have the broadcast. Also, a big thank you to Julian Strasser for having both me and April here on the commentary booth today. And thank you to you at home for watching. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing these broadcasts. So, do you want to say the catchphrase, or should I say the catchphrase?
Go on, you say the catchphrase.
So yeah, that'll be